Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox Ger, on the show tonight. Azure Billy and the one and only Southside. How we doing, gentlemen?
I am fine, Ox. Happy New Year to you, pal. Happy New Year, Southside. Apart from the old man flu, mate. A wee touch of the man flu, but we'll soldier on for the Rangers.
Good on you, mate.
Aye, good evening to you two gentlemen, and a happy new year as well, and a happy new year to all the Bears and Berets out there listening in this evening.
How are you, big man?
Aye, sound mate, good.
Good. You avoid the lurgy?
Aye, I've avoided it.
Good on you, mate, good on you. Good on you. Building up another big game for us at Tannadice. Obviously, with a big game in one day, I'll get you two gentlemen's thoughts. We've not heard. I'll go to your good self first, Billy.
Aye, Ox. I thought the performance was a bit of the typical Jekyll and Hyde Rangers. We've done a lot of good things and we've done a lot of silly things. The first half, mate, I mean, I don't know, the first goal, I don't know what Alfie was thinking about the kind of pass he rolled out or what he was trying to do. He's got to play that square pass, mate. He's got to put height on it. He could have done a number of, 2 or 3 different things. He could have laid it back to where the ball came from, or he could have scooped it instead of, or he could have tried to just hold it and pull a foul, mate. He done neither, mate, and obviously we're 1-0 down. I thought Tavernier could have been a lot better for the goal as well. He had a big part to play in the first goal and all, mate, because he done nothing. He could have cleared it, he could have put it in the stone, he could have hit it back to McGregor, but he tried to play a wee, I don't know what he was trying to do, mate, and obviously they got the part in the score, eh? And then we see the good side of Morelos. He gets on the end of 2 good headers, mate, and in my opinion, he's got to score them. But he didn't score them. But listen, it is what it is, mate. The second half comes out. I thought we were by far the better team in the second half, mate. I thought Ryan Kent come on to a bit of a game as well. We're starting to see the Ryan Kent of old. And obviously we get the penalty. James Tavernier scored a brilliant penalty kick. There's no a keeper in the world getting near that, mate. But then we go 2-1 up, and then we lose a silly goal. I don't know what Ryan Jack was thinking about. He had 2 chances to clear his lines, mate. He didn't do neither. And the boys broke to Celtic. Well, they got 3 ricochets within the box, and the boys stuck it away. It was a to me, it felt like it was like a draw was like a defeat type thing, because I thought we deserved more than we actually got out the game, mate, over the piece, mate. But we need to cut out.
We grabbed the draw for the jaws of victory, mate. That's what we done.
We did, mate. But we need what I will say is, mate, we need to stop cutting out these individual errors, because it's absolutely killing us. It's killing us, and it's not just one player doing it or 2 players doing it, and you're dropping them and somebody else is coming in. It's happening right through the full team, and it's gone for the goalkeeper, to the defenders, midfield players and attackers. Are all doing it, and they need to cut it out big time, mate, because it's killing us in games. It's killing us in games.
Okay, Southside.
Hey, gutted at the end of the game, Ox, the way it finished. I thought we'd probably done enough in the game to see it out. So on that side, I was disappointed, but some good positives, mate. We went a goal behind and we've come back. I thought Kent probably should have scored when he got the chance for Kamara, when Alfie blocked the shot for the kick out for the goalie. I thought he should have made it 1 each at that time. But I thought for then on we kicked on. Like Billy said, lost their way slightly after the goal. Not so much just position sense and try to shut them down. We were a wee bit open. But like I said, for then on, when Kent had the shot and the goalie saved it onto the post, for then on we kicked on at the end of the first half. And I thought we came out and started well in the second half, and Kent done what he should do when he got the chance, 1-on-1 inside the area. He finished it with aplomb. And then obviously we've got the penalty. We're in the ascendancy. So I thought it was a great display. I thought it was a lot of heart and fight. I thought probably we tired near the end, and I think a couple of the substitutions that had one forced in that and one that we took off. I think they were unforced because a lot of them were tired ups. But overall, mate, they get away with a point for Ibrox when they should have went away with nothing, to be honest.
In the middle part of the game, we played well. We didn't start the game well, and we didn't finish the game well. First 25 minutes, last 5-10 minutes. But in between that, all of our players done a lot of good stuff. So there's room for optimism, but ultimately we dropped 2 points at Ibrox. That's the reality, whether we like it or not. Southside.
Aye, unfortunately we have. But the piece, Ox, when you look at the 5 games that we've had to play since Michael Beale's come in, and he more or less said sort of gave him a wee judgment report card after 5 games. So all in all, we're undefeated. We've scored 12 goals. Mm-hmm. I think we've conceded 6, and I think we've probably got about 8 or 9 different scorers in the 12 goals. So I'm looking positively the fact that he came in and he's managed to beat the Dross. That is what we need to beat. And for a mad 5 minutes in that game, we would have walked away with the 3 points against them with that squad and that team that he's had to put out. So you can see there's positive signs, and you can see that there's a shape and there's a style to us. I think we just need the fitness levels up to do the type of pressing and the type of football that Michael Beale wants to impose on the team.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned Michael Beale. If you two gentlemen don't mind, we're going to hear a bit of Michael Beale's interview today, if that's all right with you two upstanding gentlemen.
There you go.
Sound, mate. Aye, fire away, buddy.
And after we've heard from Michael, we'll open the phone lines. So we're going to hear from our manager, Michael Beale, and then phone us in 0141 356 1972. It's important that you speak to the lovely receptionist who's working this evening. We'll phone you back and bring you into the call. It's quite easy, Billy, isn't it?
Of course it is, mate. Absolutely.
Let's hear from our gaffer, Michael Beale.
Michael, how's the mood in the camp after what I'm sure was probably a sore one to concede so late, but ultimately a point going into Sunday?
Yeah, it was afterwards. The change room wasn't great, if I'm honest. Obviously, we felt a lot of frustration because overall, outside the first 30 minutes, we're playing a big rival, and we didn't give up any chances until we conceded. And even then, in that goal, there's a lot of regret in the way that we conceded it. But in the main, it was a really positive performance. I think when the dust settles, I think we're content enough with the performance, but knowing that we can do more over time. I think that's the big thing for us. It's every week trying to get better and stronger as we go.
What do you think you've learnt from the group of players that you've got here? We've seen great character in the last minute, like up at Pittodrie. We've seen convincing performances against Motherwell, and then this latest performance. What do you think you see in the group?
Well, I think since Ben and Connor have been back together, we've looked a lot stronger. Bourne has come back in and performed well. In the last month, I've seen a young boy in Adam Devine showcase himself as well. So that's good. John Suter back in training today is really positive. Leon King's doing well. So all of a sudden, that looks a lot more positive. We've rotated the midfielders a lot because we've needed to. You know, John's been playing and training with injections. I've had to ease off and on him. He gets a whack in the second half and was still in pain for quite a while after the game. Glenn, as I've mentioned, has had ease issues, and Jack O'Hee. So in terms of the squad, everybody seems in a more healthy place. Antonio and Kamar have had another week. All of a sudden, you go out to training today and you've got 3 number 9s. It looks a lot more stronger than what it did a few weeks ago. Alfredo, to his credit, because I know there's a lot written and said about him, he's managed to play the last 2 or 3 games when maybe another player wouldn't. So what I can see is that everyone's committed and all in as we get people back. the form will come. They need a bit of kick in terms of belief, which is what I said to them at half-time in the game, and I thought they performed well in a game probably where they surprised one or two people who was sharpening their pencils to write something else. I thought we performed well in the game. We're disappointed not to win it.
Have you been disappointed? Sorry. No, you go. Have you been disappointed by the criticism of Alfredo in particular? He's been savaged by various people over the last week.
I don't read it all. I just sense it, and all I can do is go off his energy here in the building. Like, his situation is not ideal as well if people want to go for him about his form and stuff. But I see a different boy inside. I think he's working to what he's working with. I'm probably the only person other than him who knows what he's going through physically at the minute to get himself fit and to stay fit, because he's played with one or two knocks. So I'm okay. Alfredo's a big boy. He's been taking this for 3 or 4 years now. I actually think it's quite tame compared to how it was when I first came to Scotland.
Are you amused or bemused that 4 days after the game, the back pages are still dominated by supposed controversy over VAR?
Listen, I think VAR, we all wanted it. Now we've got it, and now we're not sure if we want it or not. So I think that's where we're at. I think at the time, obviously, I'm seeing it. I don't see it till after the game. So I wasn't sure at the time whether it was or wasn't. I see one player for them appeal for it, not everybody. And then you read the law, and the law says one thing, and it's how that law is then perceived. And the officials on the day perceived it a certain way. I thought, actually, John and the staff that were there, the officials that were there, I thought they had a good game. For an Old Firm game, I thought they managed the game really well. He didn't ban cards out early. It was two teams going. I thought it was a cracking game. I thought two teams went head-to-head for the full 90 minutes. And I thought John and the other officials managed the game on the day very, very well. I actually thought that when the game ended, there's always some things you think can go for you or against you. When you read the rule, it seems like they got it to the letter.
Do you think that's just a normal part of new technology settling in, or do you think people are trying to stake out a little bit of territory using their elbows to try and influence the operators?
No, listen, I just think it's what happens, the fallout after a derby. Something's got to be for a reason why people didn't play well. I think did you not play well? Did the other team play well? All these things go in it. I'm a manager that wants to try and stay away from that. I realise there's the human element involved. Even when you go to VAR, it's still a human on the other side who's got to make a call there, whether it is or it isn't in relation to the laws. I don't think anyone sat in this room now or any manager knows the laws as good as the officials. Some of the laws seem to change and we're told them, but it's not our day in, day out job to know it. With the handballs, I suppose the whole of the world football is a little bit unsure at times, but when you see what's actually written, then I think they got the decision right.
How pleased were you to see John Strutter back in training today?
Really pleased. Obviously, we spoke about him last week. When he played that game earlier in the season, he was probably too honest when he played at Livingston, because he was in pain going into the game, and ultimately it's cost him a little bit of his Rangers career, but hopefully now he's back. We took a little bit longer to try to get to the bottom of some of the issues that he's had, and we're hopeful that we have. But I think the proof will be in the coming months with John if he can stay fit, because if he is, I think he's a very good player. And even today, his first session back in the group, he showed one or two things that were very pleasing. So he was signed here as a Scottish player, Scottish international that knew the league, that was coming in at a good age. We felt his best days were in front of him, and hopefully that is the case now.
When would you expect to see him vying for the first team?
I think by the end of the month. I think very similar to Yanis, by the end of the month we'll be, Yanis has been training now contact, which is a big thing when you come off an injury like that. And obviously John's just gone straight back into contact because it's a different type of injury. So let's give him a good couple of weeks. We've got a busy schedule before that, but if we sort of earmarked around the St Johnstone game at the end of the month, we won't be too far out for both of those boys.
I guess that's like 2 January signings for you then?
Yeah, because you're going to get on to January signings now, ain't you? So it won't be the only 2, I would say.
Are you close to anything at the moment?
We've spoken to 2 or 3 players. Our phone's not stopped, really. There's a lot of players interested in coming here. I've got to make sure they're the right one. I'm a little bit fussy. I want to sit in front of a player and I want to look in his eyes. It's all right doing something over Zoom. My schedule's been pretty packed out up until that game last Monday. This week's been spent meeting people face to face and getting a feel for them, telling them exactly what I want, not them the other way around in terms of what they're expecting, what I'm expecting from them, and the role that I want them to play coming in. Because when we're recruiting, I'm recruiting players for real specific roles. It's not just about a collection of players coming in. I want to recruit a player that comes in and does a very specific job for us in the squad, because I think that's what we need right now. I said when I first come in the job, I didn't think it was as broken as people were making out. The only thing that can prove that is performances on the pitch, and I think 3 or 4 of the right additions can pull everything together in the right direction.
Michael, you mentioned that it's only 2 or 3 players. Would you hope to do that fairly soon in terms of getting these guys out?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we've obviously got this game this week, and then we've got a free week into the semi-final with Aberdeen. 2 really big games for us. But in that time, there's no midweek game, so it does give me more time to do things. I think then the negotiation part takes place, doesn't it? So I'm not so much involved in that. That's with the agents and the football clubs that are involved. But I would say that the 2 or 3 that I've spoken to are very keen to come, and sooner rather than later, same on our side. So let's see. There won't be anyone in, obviously, before this weekend.
In terms of, that's players in, obviously. In terms of players out, it feels like in modern football there's a bit more of a move towards players running down their contracts. Obviously we've got a couple of high profile examples just now. Is that just a kind of modern football player power thing, that players are more likely to do that, or are there any benefits for the club or yourself as a coach to having players that are nearing the end of their contract and maybe being a little hungrier? I
think it's 2 ways. I think, the player will want the best contract for himself. He might be waiting, it's still different cases. If it's a player that's a main starter, obviously there's a bit of negotiation going on and there's a bit of honesty. There's been a lot of change in the club recently. So if you put yourself in the shoes of the player and the club, are you going to commit to another 3 or 4 year contract not knowing who the manager is and the way things are going to go? So I think that's natural. There's 1 or 2 that are at a different stage of their career and have to show, they have to keep showing what they've done previously, that they can do that moving forward. All those conversations will happen in the coming days and weeks. I think for us as a staff coming in, we came into a club where we had a lot of injuries and we had a heavy schedule over the Christmas period. We've now come out the other side of that, and barring 5 minutes in the derby, it would have been perfect, wouldn't it? So it's just, I think we're in a positive place moving forward. Now it's me deciding who I think we should move forward with. And then if it's 1 or 2 of the players that are out of contract, can we give them an offer based on where we think they're going, their value in the future, or their age, that they want to sign? So those conversations will happen now. They haven't happened already.
And there's been some criticism of James Tavernier from Monday in terms of the game, but also at points this season. People have been saying he's maybe not the player he was. Where do you stand on his role in the team just now?
No, I think, he took a high-pressure penalty at a big moment in the game and scored. I thought, obviously, Maeda got the better of him for the first goal. There's a few mistakes in both goals. I thought Maeda started the game very well, and I thought at times then, as the game went on, Tav did very well. So, I think that's what happens when you're playing against good players. At different times in the game, you've got to tussle and get through it, and James has got my full backing. He's got a young one now who's coming along who wants to play. And so it's interesting. I like James when someone's breathing down his neck. I think we saw the best of him when Nathan Patterson was chasing him down. And I'm sure we'll get a reaction out of Adam, because I thought Adam did really well for 3 or 4 games. And likewise, when Ridvan's fit, Borna's got I want that competition, not just for James, for everybody. And we've not had it. The reality is we haven't had it. And I think that everyone's got to jump up a notch if they're worried whether they're going to be playing or not.
Well, come and join us at 0141 356 1972 and give us your thoughts. Long ago, the previous manager, different English wasn't his first language, but it's a breath of fresh air. Southside.
Aye, 100%. Listening to Michael Beale speak now, he explains a lot, doesn't he, when he's asked a question. It is refreshing to listen to. So, to what you said today, there was a lot in it. Talking about, obviously, John Suter, obviously talking about Tav there at the end, and obviously Alfredo and Ryan Kent, and obviously the positive thing I took out of Ox was the fact that we're looking to sign a few players in January. Mm-hmm. I think that's the right good thing to take out that he's looking to speak to players, or has done, and they're willing to come. So that's positive, and I think maybe maybe a week down the road, maybe before a semi-final, we might have a player or two in maybe, and that'd be a boost for the club, because obviously it's going to be a long-term 2 signings for going forward. So that's positive, mate, in my eyes.
Aye, Billy, he's very honest,
He is. He certainly is that, mate. We all know there was some kind of barrier between Giovanni with the press and the way he was coming across. But Michael Beale in his press conferences, mate, he's saying what I like about it, mate. He's saying what we're all seeing. You know what I mean? He can, which is a good thing, mate. And he's honest. He's honest.
What's your name, Roy Walker?
That was 3-2. Was that 3-2-1? I can't remember what it was. Catchphrase or something. Was that? That was a 4-match timeouts. No, mate. He's Roy Walker, brilliant. No, mate. He's honest in his press conference, mate, and he shows a lot of clarity in his press conference as well, mate, and he tells you what's been happening with players, what kind of injuries they've got, what the clubs want to do, what kind of positives they're looking for, how the game went, the positives, the negatives. You know what I mean? He spoke about character there. He also spoke about, it was good to hear him speaking about we're getting stronger in the defence and the 2 centre-backs, mate. It was heartening to see he was frustrated and the players were frustrated. And he also spoke about individual errors, so he knows that the players are wanting to get better, and they're obviously buying into what he's trying to install in them, mate. And it was good to hear that the good old the injuries are starting to dry up, Ox. That was a good one as well.
That was good news. Obviously, John Souttar's back in training. Well, he said today, obviously, I can't see him being in the squad for the weekend, but he might start pushing for the squad next Sunday, Southside.
Aye, he could be included in the squad.
Well, I suppose 9 substitutes, you never know, do you?
Aye, it's good to see him back, and he's straight back into contact. And we know the sort of injury he had, and now he's back fit. And I said on here a few weeks back, I think when he comes back, I don't think he'll get these injuries he had before. I'm hoping he'll get a good long-term bit of fitness out the guy. It'll just be a case if he can push his way into the team, Ox.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the thing, to get him back playing, unless Michael Beale decides to go at times with a back 3. Or he could look to maybe shove him in at right back now and again. But
I was talking to a wise guy today, and he said he could do that at times, play Souttar on the right, Golston in the middle, and Davis on the left, and then he's got a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now he plays, it gives him flexibility that he's not had there.
Yep, but if we're going to get him back in the team, we know he's predominantly either in the middle or he's on the right-hand side. He's not anywhere near the left. So hopefully if he can get a chance back in the team, that we'll see him play in a natural position.
Good news, and obviously Ridvan is getting there as well, yeah?
Aye, Ridvan looks like he's on his way back as well. And obviously that'll push Borna. And Update will fight it out for the left back position, but positive, and he's looking like he's going to take his time with the signings, Ox. And he's going to obviously speak to certain players, make sure that they're all going to pull in the right direction, because he's got a big job and he's got to do a revamp. So he's going to get it right. I think he knows he's got to, and so far so good. At the end of the day, he's pulled that squad for back before that World Cup break, and he's got his wins and a draw. By 5 minutes, 10 minutes would have had that game won. So I think it's positive steps at the moment, mate, going forward for what I've seen so far.
Good about the injuries. Very honest about who we're trying to sign, Billy, yeah?
That's another good point. He obviously knows, Ox, that what areas. Obviously, he's not got to give anything away. We understand that, we've got our own thoughts in where we would like to strengthen the Rangers team in different positions, mate. But he'll know himself, and obviously he's not going to tell any reporter who's first and foremost that would be disrespectful to the players and the clubs are still at type thing, and obviously let the cat out the bag. So we know he's not going to say anything there, mate. But it's good to know that he's going to be bringing in 2 or 3 signings, mate, because it's healthy competition for the players that's already there, because that's what's been lacking as well when you think about it as well, mate, because you've got players there that were just playing every week in, week out, and had no competition. You know what I mean? Talking about Barisic and Ridvan there, if you've got two fit, for talking sake, left backs here, the two of them will go to perform when they get the shot, to push the other one on, and it's up to them when they get the shot to keep the shot, and that happens right through the full park, no matter what it is, if it's Alfredo Morelos and Kolach, or it's James Tavernier and whoever it may be at right back, or whoever's playing at centre half. So it's competition all over the park, mate, and that's what you want. You want a healthy competition all over the park, mate, to push people on, and you'll get the best out of the starting 11. That's a gimme, mate.
Can I just say, if you want to speak to this show, you phone in 0141 356 1972, and it's no difficult. You phone in, speak to the reception, and then you'll come on. Yeah, that's it. Simple. If you can't manage that, you might not go on. Carry on, Billy.
As I said, mate, it's healthy. It's healthy competition for the players, mate, because they're obviously the players get static now, and then they say to themselves, well, I'll be playing in that position anyway. So you know what I mean. That's when players, I would imagine, that's the form dips, and you know what I mean. Players start to take things for granted, and albeit they shouldn't take things for granted, mate. You know what I mean, when they pull your jersey on, but unfortunately that happens. But as I said, mate, when you get a couple of players or 2 or 3 players competing for different positions all over the park, mate, it pushes. Obviously, it makes your starting 11 a lot stronger, and when you've got to make these substitutions as well. When you come on, you can, if you want to go like for like type thing, you can bring a strong player on for somebody that's equally as strong going back after part, mate. So it's good.
We've not had that. We've not had that with the amount of injuries. We've had competition for places is good. Southside, obviously, if you've got a strong bench, sometimes you can have better players on the bench at times, if in people's opinion, and you've got that option. We've not had it, if I'm being honest.
No, we've not had it all season, really. But we've had to just manage with what we've had at the time. And now it's really hitting when we're putting first team players out that he's alluded to. Glenn Kamara, his knee flaring up and stuff, and obviously John Lundstrom, and obviously Tav, we've seen had struggled. So we've had players out there, and we've rushed probably Connor Golson straight back in without rest. So it might work out maybe soon that we could maybe drop him a game or 2 and maybe put John Suter in, and it might help the squad going forward. And hopefully, if we can get a couple of new additions, Ox, that obviously strengthens the whole squad. And if we could get if we've got a couple of strikers coming back, as he's alluded to as well, with Kolak and Roof. So that's positive news as well. It just depends on how long they can stay fit. And obviously Alfie's been turning up for us, as he said, and turned up and played, where he said maybe other players wouldn't have.
He's bumming Alfie up, isn't he?
He's talking him up. He's no daft, Michael Beale. He's got to talk every player up he speaks about, you know, and then he'll make decisions going forward, and that's the way it should be. But he gets a positive response out them, Ox, and that's what looks like it's happening, you know.
I think there was a wee step for a hint in there. The young Divine's going to start on the weekend, Billy.
Well, listen, mate, I was actually thinking about that myself over the last couple of days. Do you know what was concerning me, Ox? I thought to myself, well, when we look back at the situation with Alfredo, right, how he was playing with an injury, we all knew he was playing with an injury, his thigh injury. Then he ended up, the tear got worse, you know what I mean? And then he's out for a length of time. He's got to recover for injury. And then he's got to go his rehab, and then come back and get fit again and push and kick the door on to go and get up to speed again, like, you know. And what was concerning me was with the same situation with, for talking sake, Lundstrom or Tavernier and Kamara. These guys that's needing operations that we hear. I mean, if they're needing operations, mate, I'm telling you something now, mate. The longer you play these guys, the worse that injury's going to get, and the longer they're got to be out, mate, because the injury has got to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And I understand that we've not got anybody to come in due to the circumstances to fill in the positions, mate, because back to what we were talking about earlier on there, you've not got anybody to come in. But if the players are injured, mate, the injuries are just going to get worse and worse and worse. So if we're going to get to flip it on a positive now, if we're going to get players in the window into different positions that we're struggling in, mate, it can give these guys a rest. And back to what your question is, you can for talking sake, you can play that laddie Divine, because James Tavernier's needing a rest. We can all see the boys needing a rest. You know what I mean? But we're no doubting what James Tavernier can do and what he can't do, right? But the boys definitely needing a rest. Plus, and it gives a laddie Divine a wee chance to go and for the Rangers support and the Rangers management team to see what that laddie can go and prove when he's playing in the starting 11. And listen, back to the all healthy competition scenario again. You know what I mean? Maybe Tavernier will get a wee rest and he'll get sorted. We don't know. But only half an hour into show, mate. I can't have got a man flu, I tell you.
A brown bag, bullet.
Long as it's not a glue bag.
That's plenty, Isaac. Right. Aye, okay. So you take a note of that, what Billy said?
Aye, mate, I've got it all there and stored.
We'll be wrote it in capital letters.
Aye, but you're right, Billy. Your point is it comes down to competition for places and go to help Southside, and we've not had that. Fresh players coming back from injury, fresh players coming into the club, a couple, maybe one or two young boys developing, and the whole thing changes Southside.
Aye, we need a freshness. The whole squad needs a freshness. I mean, okay, we've got a lot of players in last at the transfer window, and we've probably added, say, 7. And you're going to go with some of them, I would imagine. They might not be his cup of tea. Time will tell, but he'll judge it. But aye, we need that freshness, and we need to get some new signings in. And hopefully they're guys that are going to start, and then the rest of them can get a lift for it that wants to be at the club and go forward with that, and that makes competition for places even harder, and it gives us a stronger bench as well going forward, because substitutions have been crucial for us this season. We've had to use them quite a lot, and I think we need to get a level of fitness back, but we're not going to get it back now towards to the end of the season. We'll go with what we've got, and hopefully we'll get stronger. But aye, it's just a freshness. I think Ox, we need that. Squad's been there a long time. I know we've freshened it with 7 players, but the majority of the players we're relying on have been there a long time. And I think that we just need that freshness about our squad.
Okay, gentlemen, if it's all right with you, what we'll do is we'll hear the second part of the Michael Beale interview, yeah?
Aye, mate, go for it, buddy. Yep.
Let's hear from your gaffer.
These players that you're talking to, are they permanent deals you're looking at, Michael, not loan deals?
Yeah, no loans this month. Like, if I'll have to explain to you if we were to take a loan, but my plan is no loans this month. We don't need anyone to come in this club for 6 months as a short term. We don't want that. We want more certainty. I think there's been a bit of uncertainty about too many players. I want to take uncertainty away in terms of the way that we're going to play, the clarity and the standards, but also then people's situations. In the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm hoping we get to the end of the majority of that. Anyone coming in now will be with a view to them being an important player for Rangers for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I think that's really important.
When you sit down with these players, you talk about, looking them in the eye, sussing them out. What are the characteristics you're looking for in these players that would make them a Rangers player?
Well, there's 2 things. There's on the pitch and then there's off the pitch around the building. So in terms of, are they the right sort of person to come into our environment? Are they going to fit? Sometimes there's a lot of good players out there, but are they going to fit the squad that you've got now? And they'll come in for on the pitch for very, very specific roles. So they understand what they're coming in. I don't really like changing people. So if I see a player outside and he plays a certain way, I like the easiest way to transfer talent is to put a lot of the same things around them. And I think there'll be a difference. You'll see maybe someone coming in who you think, okay, he's a ready-made now, and there might be one or two you think, oh, that's an interesting one. Rangers have done one or two of them things before, and he's a player with high promise. But you'll definitely be able to see how they're going to fit into our team. I think in terms of being around the building, the players I want to work with, I'm a development coach. That's where I've come from, and I'm very, very much on growth and development, and you versus yourself as like a daily mantra in terms of improving. So I only want people that come in here young, hungry and vibrant to take this club forward, but ultimately to take themselves forward. I think that's what we have to do inside the building. People have got to want to improve themselves. So the individual first, and then that builds into the whole team. That's a little bit around the conversation. That's why it's better to meet someone and get a feel for someone sat across a table and probably have a longer conversation about life and where they're going. I think once I'm sat with someone, the football part in my mind in terms of what they're going to do on the pitch is probably already in place. Then it's really, can I get a connection with them? We work in a unique way where each player's got a member of staff that works closely with them as a guide and drives them every day. But the person who's got to own it is the player. And so for me, I need to see that. I don't want anyone who's at the top of their mountain and coming to Rangers to sort of like sit at the top of the mountain. I don't want that. I want people still climbing it and who are young and hungry. Basically a player version of what I think the management team is, a management team that needs to prove a lot, and I think that's what I want with the players as well.
How heavily involved have you been in identifying these players that are ones potentially coming in this month? Are these all players that you've been previously aware of?
Yeah, look, the club would have had lists and they've been working a certain way, like all clubs will do. Our recruitment side here, I think, is very, very strong in terms of if I want to go and get reports on a player, I can go and get them in-house. I don't have to ring a load of contacts. I certainly do that to get a 360, and then I take my own feeling. I like to take a gamble because I believe in development and people growing to perform. I don't think any club in Scotland buys the finished product. I think we have to kick onwards and upwards with the players. The players that come in this club will be chosen by myself along with the recommendations of the recruitment staff, but no player would come into Rangers without the manager's say so. And in my time working at the club previously, that never happened then either.
Michael, you mentioned earlier that John Lundstrom had to take an injection before the Celtic game. Is that something he's having to do quite regularly, and where is he at in terms of his fitness ahead of the United match?
He'll be fit for the game at the weekend. It was a really sore one. He did it against Hibs. He got caught in the ribs, in the chest area, and it really flared up. He had some problems breathing in the days afterwards, so he's not done a lot of training between the games. He took the injection and he took a whack the other day. Naturally, knowing John, and he's got that lovely Scouse mentality. He's a tough boy, and he wanted to continue. But after the game, he was still in a lot of pain. It was a big moment. It hasn't been spoken about. It was a big moment in the game the other day because John's probably, at this moment in time, the midfielder who's physically the most fit in our team. He's been playing the most, and to lose him wasn't something that was ideal in the game. And obviously, we concede with him not on the pitch, so it was frustrating. But he'll be back for this weekend, and as I say, every day that goes past, he's healing.
Michael, no one's mentioned it yet, but it was in the email today. You've been named Manager of the Month. How does that feel? And what a great start that is to your time as Rangers manager.
Yeah, look, a great start. I wasn't expecting it because I wasn't even thinking about it. I've not really had time to think about it. It's nice. It's not the award that I want us to have. I want us to have a lot more. But listen, it's a sign that, and the credit goes to the players because I've come in and changed a lot in terms of the way that we play, the way that we train, the intensity and the ideas. The players have had to take on a lot. I've chopped and changed the team as well to give everyone an opportunity. And so, yeah, they deserve the credit because they go and play. It wasn't me that scored in the 96th minute at Aberdeen, was it? It was Scotty Arfield. So if that don't go in, I'm not getting that award maybe. So, look, fair play to the players. It's a nice one, but it's not something I want to sit and dwell on too much.
There's been some rumours about Phil Hollander and his future given the current injury situation and his contract status. What's the latest in that?
Phil Hollander's a fantastic player who, for whatever reason, in the last year and a half, has not been able to play and show it. I thought when he was fit, he was always an excellent player for the club. I don't think anybody wants to be injured. Phil certainly doesn't. On a personal level, while he has been out, his wife's given birth to twins, which is lovely for him as a dad. Me and Phil get on really well. I think at this moment in time, Phil needs to focus on his rehab. And if he gets through his rehab and he gets fit at 29, I think Phil Hollander's still got a good future in front of him. Let's hope that this injury as the last ones he has, because we have to remind ourselves he did come from Serie A and he was a full international before the injury. And when people are injured, the perception sometimes is people are happy being injured, but I can tell you Phil's not. He's in every day. Don't skip a day.
Thanks, guys. On the Zoom, Derek.
Good afternoon. Congratulations on the Manager of the Month award. I just wanted to ask you about someone who came in when you were a coach at the club, but unfortunately we've not seen him. I wonder if you can give us an update on Namdi Offerboard at all and what the latest is with him.
Yeah, Namdi's situation is still with a specialist. As you can imagine, with that sort of situation, the people in the public and the people that are in the staff here, we're not experts, and it's an area that you need to get real specialist opinion on. You need to get more than one opinion. He's been able to do some physical activity, but obviously the care and the duty that we've got in this one is really, really big. So there's no news officially on it. It's just it's still away in the background. I'm up to speed with it all, but there's a bit of privacy in this one as well.
Yes, Michael.
Jordan or Colin? Colin, yeah?
Yeah, hi Michael. I'm just wondering if you get any specific update around Tom Lawrence, how's recovery's doing, and when we can expect to see him back.
Tom was away seeing a specialist again yesterday, just to get some sort of idea of what comes next. He's had a little bit of discomfort, so I know we said towards the end of this month that might now be in jeopardy. It's not definitely in jeopardy, but we need to. When players come back from rehab, you had Connor Goldson come back 3 weeks ahead of schedule, and you have other players sometimes don't feel so good and delayed. So at this moment in time, there's no good or bad news. It just is where it is. We just need to get an update on that one.
Jonathan?
Hi Michael. I know the last couple of weeks we've spoken about potentially adding another midfielder to the squad. Is that one of the players that you've maybe been speaking to this week, and is it a different type of midfielder you're looking to add to the squad?
I'm looking to raise the technical ability across the squad, like you always do, and obviously to bring some dynamic, some athleticism into the squad in general. I'm also looking for people that I think can come and play in front of our crowd and relish that opportunity of playing, and actually rise to that challenge and sort of prosper in it. So if you're trying to get something specific out of me, George, you won't. I'm looking for players in all positions that are good enough to play. So this month there's a world of opportunities, really.
Honesty, Southside.
refreshing, that's what it is, isn't it?
By the way, just to let you know, after Fox listened to that, he tried that you versus yourself and he lost.
It was it's just, well, he was asked a lot of good questions, and they were all explained very well. I think touching on the one that disappointed me slightly was, although he said it might not be a negative, was the Tom Lawrence one. I was hoping we would get positive news about him coming back, but it is what it is. But it was good to see. He explained a lot again, like he did in the first part of his interview. Ops.
Aye. He doesn't miss Bill, does he?
No, he doesn't, mate. Well, just touching on what Southside was talking there about Tom Lawrence. I think with Tom Lawrence been out for the amount of time he's been out now, mate, I think we'll be wrapping him up in cotton wool type thing, because the last thing we would want is to try and rush him back too quick, mate, and he gets an injury again, and it puts him back again, because that's the last thing we want, because we all know how good a footballer Tom Lawrence is. But it was refreshing to hear as well, Ox, that it's permanent deals that he's wanting. That's fantastic news, mate. No loan deals, mate.
Was there a dig there for you, Billy? What's happened in the past?
Possibly
last year.
Possibly, mate. Possibly.
Top of the mountain on the way down. Was that a dig?
It could be, mate. It could be.
I don't possibly know who could be talking about Southside. Any ideas?
No, I didn't really. I was just listening to it all, but I never really gave that much of a thought at the time. I just think
that's because you're quite a nice guy and you don't think like that.
I just, well, obviously, persona. But I think going forward, I think it's the fact that he said he'll sit down with players, he'll talk to them, and he's going to get a specific type of player for that specific position that he sees. And also, I think when he said that the manager will have the final say, as it happened under him before with Steven Gerrard, I think he was alluding to. So I think that nails everything. That if anybody comes in that door, it'll be on his final say so.
Okay, come and join us. Give us your thoughts. We'd like to hear what people think the team will be for a big game away at Tannadice. Looks as if John Lundstrom's going to play. Who's playing at right back? Who's playing up front? Who's playing the right side of midfield? What's the team going to be? How are you used to thinking? Yeah.
I'll need to get my pen and paper out, mate, to scribble my team down.
All right. Yeah, wait a minute. Well, in the corner there's a set of cranes, mate.
Has it got pictures?
Don't worry, there's Stevie's old ones.
No bother, mate. Do you know what I liked? As well, Ox? That he said he's looking for players to hit the ground running, long-term players to fit in. So if players have got to fit into your club, mate, they'll need to have character, mate. Oh, sorry, mate.
We've been joined by Big Al. How are we doing, big man?
All right. Can you hear me okay today?
We can hear you okay today, mate. Yeah.
That's
how
lovely,
you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Aye. Happy New Year to you and to all their families. Hope it's
Happy New Year,
prosperous.
Happy New Year, big man.
Oh, there's a big fella. Happy New Year. Good to hear your dulcet tones. It's a bit depressing listening to the press conferences. All the questions are, when's this player back, when's this player back, when's this player back. Did I hear them mention that Offenbar as well?
Aye.
Just there now. I think that tells you a lot about what kind of squad we've got. I was listening to his 20 minutes ago, we were talking about John Souttar and Hadji. I mean, Hadji's an alright player, but it's not the second coming, is it? If he comes back for injury, he's coming back for a very serious injury. It's going to take him a wee while to settle in. And I mean, he wasn't a great player. So I think you can't really hang your hat on him coming back. It's going to make us a far better team. John Souttar, I think it's a waste of time talking about John Souttar, to be quite honest, because the guy's injury prone. We signed a player that's injury prone. He'll become the Scottish Hollander. I don't think if he's a fit player and he wasn't injury prone, it's an excellent signing. But I just don't see it myself. There's players there these were talking about. If we get X, Y, and Z players that are already in the team to play better, but who are they players that are in the team that we think can play better? I mean, have we not been on here talking about the past few weeks? Ryan Jack, we're not going to offer him a contract, are we? He's not going to get any better now. I'm a wee bit sick that we've not got some decent, good signings in at the moment, because that's the only way we're going to change the team is by getting in some proper signings. The team's been getting results. That's great, but if we want to go to the next level, we have to spend money, get better players in, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
Southside, you can take the Hadji one. I better keep away from that one.
Hadji, I think Big Al, I think it will take him a bit of time to get back playing. I think he contributes, right? He can boot the game sometimes, but he sees things, he shoots outside the box, he gets goals, and he takes players, and a lot of players foul him round about the edge of the box and stuff because he is a bit light on the ball. But it will take him a good bit of time, Big Al, to come back and see where he is. I think if Hadji came back, I think he would just plunk him right out there on the right hand side like Gerrard done. If he was fit and available.
Did we not discuss that previously? That's not his position, is it? That right?
No, really. But I think if you look at everybody we've tried in there, Big Al, he's probably been the most successful.
Here's a wee bit of an idea. We open up that biscuit tin and go and buy a proper right-sided midfielder. There's just I'm just throwing it out there. This is what I'm frustrated with. You know what I'm saying, big man?
I believe we'll spend money, right? I believe we'll spend money. I believe we're going to spend money in January. I said it back on the show a good number of weeks ago. We'll spend money. We'll get 2 or 3 players in January, and we'll certainly spend in the summer. But it's going to take.
When you say spend money, how much are we talking
here? In total, probably between this window and the summer.
No, I think in the next few weeks. Well,
depending on who's got his eye on, I think he's hinted that one looks like he'll be of an age where we were looking at a mature player coming in, and I think the other two he sort of hinted that, as we've done business before, are going to be like promising projects. But it sounds it in my eyes for what I took for his, for what he said in his presser there.
I think we need the first team starters, big man. We need 100%. We need players that know the score, that have got a bit of drive about them, a bit of dig. Because I'm actually sick as well that Rangers seem to be talking the talk now. As a big club and all this, but when you look at it, they're not acting like a big club. They're not bringing in the big signings. They're not dominant. We need to be dominant.
If you're looking for a big set, what kind of money do you think we're going to spend now?
I don't think we'll be spending hee-haw. That's the problem. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm thinking that one of our signings could make the news in your local paper.
In my local paper, in the Pilbara Times.
There you go.
Nah. They're not. They're going to sign another Aaron Ramsey or something. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I just didn't see them. I'm not being too. I'm only voicing what I feel, and I just think that it's the same again. A new manager comes in. How many weeks has he been in? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
Approximately
like that. He must be frustrated with that as well. He's playing a wee bit lip service to the fans. I might look them in the eye and all that. Well, I understand that. That's good tactics, but you could have looked him in the eye and 2 weeks after he signed, a week after he signed, he would have targets. I believe you're talking about Lyndon Dykes. He's coming to Rangers. Is that right? Is that where we need? So Morelos is gone, or do we have another striker? You know what I'm saying?
I hope no.
I'm not talking about him. No.
Well, I was. Somebody was saying that to me. I don't know. That's all I think I would maybe make any news here.
All right, Billy, in you come, mate.
Aye, how you doing? Al, happy New Year.
Aye, I'm brand new. Cheers.
Good, mate. Good. Regarding an attacking midfielder, mate. Aye, but definitely that's where we're short, mate. Definitely short in there. And I'll tell you, I'm going to throw a guys. I mean, it's just a guys who I think would do a job for us in that position, mate. And he's doing it in Norwich, you know, mate. Kenny McLean, and he's
injured as well.
He just signed a new contract with Norwich, probably a new 3-year deal.
When was this, Ox?
About 5 weeks ago.
Was it? I didn't know that, mate. Well, that's that argument blown out the window.
You need to do your research when you come on that show, Billy.
I know, schoolboy error, mate. Schoolboy error. No, but listen,
listen, Al, are you busy for the next tour?
I'm actually late, buddy.
I'll get a flight out of Australia, mate.
You come on the panel, Al. Thanks for the call, Billy. We'll speak to you soon, all right?
Mate. Cheers.
Well, I would have took Kenny McLean, but he signed a new contract with Norwich City. Billy, yeah?
He's a decent footballer, but obviously that's that idea up in the window. So, out the window, mate. So it's got to be interesting to see who's got to bring in for that position in the middle of the park, mate. Obviously, we need somebody that's got to be tried and tested in there. And obviously, you want them to be to play in that position, mate. You've got to have good awareness. You've got to be strong. You've got to be good on the ball, mate. You've got to have good vision. You've got to be a strong tackler as well, because we need that. Well, obviously, we've got, when you could argue the case that the likes of Ryan Jack and Lundstrom put themselves about in there, and you know what I mean. They're strong enough tacklers, but I'm talking about a complete natural all-round midfield player, because we're definitely lacking in the middle of the park, mate. And another position that concerns me as well, Ox, is right back, mate, because it's blatantly obvious now. We're short in there, and I've said that in the show for long enough, buddy. After we let the laddie go down to Everton, then we brought the big Polish fella in, and then we let him go. I seen this one coming ages ago. I says we're short in there and all, mate, so we could be looking in for a player that can maybe play centre half or slot into right back as well, mate, plus an attacker. So that'd be my three positions, mate. I'd be looking for a right back, somebody in the middle of the park, and a striker. And then let the summer take care of itself. Obviously, we need a goalkeeper in that as well, but we'll cross that bridge at the summer regarding the goalkeepers.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, I'm going to go, boys. I need to go and keep the world economy going. So, aye, look, thanks again for taking my call. Hope you all have a good and bright 2023. All right, take care.
Good to hear from you, big man.
No worries. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, mate.
I don't know if the excitements, any of the signings that we're hearing about are going to get us out of our seat, Southsider.
No, he did say in his interview, I'm a development coach, you know. I get the idea. He's a development coach. I get the idea that while he was there with Steven Gerrard, we made players better. We got Ryan Jack playing. We had Glenn Kamara playing. You know, we had Alfie probably at his peak at times playing good football. Ryan Kent doing no bad with Borna, and Tav playing excellent and all. You know, he did get performances out of these players and they raised their levels. And I get what he can do, but we can't be tippy-tapping about here. We need to get players in, and then we need to refresh that squad in the summer, and we need to go for the league titles and the cups next season. That's what we need to do, and we need to be winning. We get that it's going to take time. I think it's positive that he's identified 3 players and the way he spoke about it. I think he's doing a lot of soundbite stuff that the fans and we all want to hear him say. At the end of the day, I'm not caring what he says. I care what he says because then we can see if he's actually going to do what he says. But we want results and we want a Rangers team winning. We want an identity and a bit of style going forward eventually, but we want an identity and we know what that sort of identity is at the moment and how we're sort of playing. And at the moment, we're 5 games in and we're being undefeated under him, and that's probably been the remit when they come in to start winning again back in Scotland and beating the lesser teams and then do a number on them. And unfortunately, we didn't. But that's not to say we'll certainly no do it again. It's coming. I'm looking forward to the next one we get against them. But we've got to start winning our league games. Mm-hmm. And so far it had been so good, Ox.
Aye. Listen, managers are only judged in results, Billy. That's the be all and end all. What they say in a press conference is irrelevant. But I do think that it's refreshing for us all. And that's not a pop at Gio, because obviously Gio's first language was Dutch. So he's come in and that's his style. But if he keeps this momentum going and keeps winning football matches, the pressure rises and we buy into what he's trying to do, whoever he brings in the door, Billy.
That's right, mate. You can cast your mind back to different signings in the past that we thought, he'll no day and they've went on to do brilliant for Rangers, you know what I mean? It's all about, that's what it's all about, Ox, and what you said there, mate. You know what I mean? It's all about confidence and getting the momentum going, and winning games breeds confidence, mate, and that's what kicks you on, and it puts a great confidence round about first and foremost the nucleus of the starting 11, then the pool, then the management team's audit, and it creates a good harmony. And the supporters go to Ibrox, they go to where they get the away games, mate, and they get a good buzz going to watch the Rangers, mate, and it builds a lovely bubble, a big bubble type thing. Everybody's all right on it, you know what I mean? And that's what we want at Rangers, buddy. It can only be good for the club, mate, moving forward. And listen, we know we're not going to get carried away in that, mate, regarding I mean, it's only 5 games or something, 5 or 6 games we've played under him, mate, you know what I mean? But the early signs are certainly positive, what we've seen, mate.
All right, gentlemen, get yourself on mute, because we're going to have a tune. Right, okay, right, come and join us. 01413561972. Phone in, speak to the receptionist, make your point, and we will bring you into the call. Nice and easy, Southside, isn't it?
Sorry, mate, what did you say there?
It's nice and easy, just phone into the receptionist.
Phone into reception, hang up, and we'll call you back, and you go on the show for free.
Yeah, speak to the receptionist. It's easy. It's easy. Right, okay, I mean, maybe the midfielder might come for Doon Alsby. There might be one for the Black Country, maybe it's coming in the door, you never know. So, you've got a thought on a guy who's ploughed his trade in Scotland. You've had that thought for a while, haven't you?
I sure did. I think he's at the right age. Only unfortunate thing is he's just come back for injury. And he's been out for a while. On that, they've played 3 games since he come back. He's scored 2 goals. I think the guy's got good movement. He's good in the air. I think he's played in Scotland long enough. Scores against everybody in the league, including us. And I think at the age and the way that Michael Beale wants to develop players, I would have took a chance going forward on Kevin Nisbet.
That's not the first time you've said that, big man.
No.
You've been saying that for a while, haven't you?
I think he's got good movement. I know they're struggling, and when he's playing in a team that's lost 7 or 8 in the last 11. But if you look at what he does normally, he scores goals. And I think when you come to Rangers and the chances we create, you only need to look at Kolak's record, how it went up. He was scoring 1 and 2, 1 and 3. They were writing in Malmo. Came here and he was banging them on a weekly basis. And I think if you create the chances, even if he's playing up beside them or just half them, I think he gets goals. And I think he's at the right age. And I think it's something that Michael Beale could develop into an even better player. And should we get a good 2-3 years with him, and he'll be 28 by then or whatever, and he wants to move on if we make money, fair enough. and if he wants to stay and play on and become a hero, and he's scoring goals for our club, then all the better. But I just looked at him before Ox, and I thought we could have took a chance on him. The other one, I think, passed us by. No many like him. I think he's similar to Chris Boyd, was Shankland. Banged in goals a few years back there. We could have took a chance on him, and now Hearts have done it, and he's repaying them. But I think he's maybe a Chris Boyd type player, where he gets balls in the box, he knows where to be, and he scores goals, I think. Nisbet slightly reminds me a wee bit like Kenny Miller. He does a wee bit of channeling work. He can link up. He's decent in the air. He can sometimes make a goal himself when you give him the ball. And I think he would have been worth a gamble if the price was right.
Billy?
I concur. Definitely, mate. I like to look at big Nisbet as well, mate. I mean, I think he's only 25-year-old, I think. Southside, which he's a good age. He's got the best years in front of him. And as you rightly said, mate, the goals that he's scoring for a team that's in that position in the league, mate, is decent. It's a decent show for him. I think he's scored about 30 goals or something for the time he's been there, which is not too bad for the amount of game time he's had with him. Obviously, he's come back after an injury, mate. We all know that. We didn't want to go down that road, obviously, if anything happened with him regarding an injury again. But the signs are good there, mate. Plus, what I like about him as well, mate, you hit the nail on the head there, mate. He's been running about the Scottish game, and every level that he's played at, if he's come up through the different divisions, mate, he's got better and he's better and he's got better and better. So he's been running the block in Scotland. Plus, with the scenario with the Scottish player rule, mate, we'll need to maybe start looking into things like that. And he can score goals, mate, and he's got a bit of pace about him as well, which is always good for a striker as well, especially for your number 9. He can hold the ball up, he can link up well, he scores goals, mate. He's no fear to try special, you know what I mean, difficult things in different circumstances, mate. So if we signed that laddie, mate, I'd certainly be I'd be happy enough for that signing. Plus, as Michael Beale said, mate, regarding developing players, if he's that lad he's developing as he's coming up through the divisions, mate, and he comes to the Rangers, if he does come to the Rangers anyway, and the chances we create, mate, I think the laddie would score a rake of goals for the Rangers, because he's a goal scorer. That's one thing. The laddie knows where the string is.
All right. Okay, simple. Yes or no? Big Southside's punt. Yes or no? Or phone in. Give us your thoughts. I get the rationale. Scores goals. Decent age. Scores goals in the league. He suits his for the Scottish development players. There's a lot of pluses. But the big question that people ask Southside, is he good enough? I can't judge, because I've not seen him often enough, if I'm being honest. Yeah?
Aye, don't get me wrong, I don't watch him week in, week out, but you can see the progression of the boy. He was at Raith Rovers banging in goals in the Championship, and then they went to Dunfermline, and they took a punt on him, step up for him, he went there and he scored goals, and then he got recognised, and that's how Hibs took a gamble on him. And I think he's proved himself at Hibs. I think you can tell he scores goals in this league, and I think if he come to Rangers and you get the chance he's created that we should be creating, then I think it's a no-brainer that he'll score a lot of goals at the club. Depending on how much you have to pay, I think he's maybe about 18 months his contract left. But I just think if we're looking for somebody in Scotland, will get you goals and you might know what to play, your star striker every single week in the league, you can have somebody there, or you play him as a 2 or half. I think he's perfect for what we're looking for and at the right age. And if we develop him and make him better, and that's what you're looking today. The guy's a natural finisher, and he's got a good eye for goal. You seen him, the goal he took when it took a deflection, and it just fell into his path, and he stuck it away. Instinctive.
So if you're bringing him in, and people still think that Alfie's going to leave us at some time, either this window or the next, is that a replacement in your squad? Is that how you're thinking?
A replacement for him or Roof straight away, because you wouldn't be paying out the wages that they two are getting at the moment if you brought him in the door.
Roof's not going anywhere, is he, for another year?
No, maybe no, but you're a replacement for Alfie, and it's all right saying Aye, but he's no Alfie, and Alfie does this. Look, Alfie for me is finished, right? I've said it on here many a time. You can pick a country and a club. He done as well, served as well, and what he's doing, if he's playing with an injury and whatever, so be it. But going forward, Alfredo for Morelos isn't he, and I hope isn't he in the Rangers starting 11 under Michael Beale.
What happens if he signs a new contract?
If he signs a new contract, Hawks have got to support him because he's a Rangers player. I'll have to. But I think for Michael Beale going forward, I wouldn't be taking Alfredo Morelos with him, to be honest, on the journey.
I get it. Come and join us. Give your thoughts. 0141 356 1972. All right. Right, okay. Billy, any thoughts?
Aye, just the same. I mean, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, mate, you asked who would. I think there was a wee debate. We put it up to see if we would give Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos a new contract. And some of I think the feedback we got was it was generally no, they wouldn't. And obviously I said I would give Morelos and Kent a new contract. I'm starting to take my doubts now about Alfredo. Just the reason being, mate, he's on recent form, mate. It's certainly no. Let's put it this way, Ox Southside. If he's wanting a new deal, he's certainly no covering himself with glory to try and get that new deal. You know what I mean? On what we're seeing now, mate. So I'm starting to doubt what I said. But the Ryan Kent situation, I would definitely give Ryan Kent a new contract. But listen, if the big laddie Nisbet comes in, mate, and Alfredo leaves, then that's the way it is. I mean, players come and go all the time at Rangers, mate, and that's just the way it is in football. You know what I mean? There's been bigger and better players than Alfredo Morelos came to Glasgow Rangers and left Glasgow Rangers, mate. You know what I mean? And you could count in one hand how many of the players that came to Rangers went on to bigger and better things club-wise. You know what I mean? So the players who are maybe coming to the end of their contract, I think they don't actually realise what they've got to. It's actually gone, mate, you know?
All right, we've been joined by Bobby. All right, Bobby?
I didn't think you would take me on tonight, but I heard you saying the phone in now fighting Nisbet. No Nisbet. No chance.
No even Rap C?
No, not even Rap C Nisbet, no. But no, that Nisbet, no. We missed a player last year was better than him, Lewis Ferguson.
Different position, Bobby.
No. He can bang in the goals. So
he scored a few goals for Aberdeen, but they were most of them were penalties, weren't they?
Oh, you just want. I'm saying no, but we'll just go back the way.
Don't talk about Ferguson. We can come to him, but why not?
Because we always seem to have a disagreement. We can't sign Ferguson. We can't sign him.
I'm not asking you that, Bobby. I'm asking you why.
Why not? I don't think he does enough. I think he's too similar to Kovac. Right, too similar.
All right, okay. Southside, turn your telly off, Bobby. We'll need to drop you. Carry on, Southside.
I've got my telly off.
There's noise coming, or the show's in the background. Carry on, Southside, in you come.
I think he's similar to Kolak, mate. He hits the ball in the back of the net. I think he's good in the air. I think he's mobile. And he's proven in Scotland that he can bang in the goals. And I think if he comes to us, and if you have to alternate him with your main man in Kolak at times, then I think he's a perfect fit. And I think the amount of chances we create, I think the boy would score quite a lot of goals for us. And I think we could develop him at the age he's at into an even better player.
Bobby?
Was that not the same point as I made this before he came in? He's too similar to Kolak. We need something different.
Team player, and
Bobby, what happens if Michel Morelos, right, and Kolak gets injured?
Michel Morelos, who's he?
What happens if we sell Morelos, right?
Oh, sell Morelos.
Yeah, if we sell Morelos in January,
yes,
and Kolak gets injured, what happens then?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
So you don't, Bobby, you're fair enough. If you don't
What
fancy...
about Lewis Ferguson? What about Lewis Ferguson when we was going for $2 million?
Well, we never signed them. We can't turn back. I'm pretty clever, Bobby, but I can't turn back time, mate.
Right, so you asked to phone in. I don't think Nisbet's our answer. I think we need somebody a wee bit more skill-wise, tricky. Who
would you go for, Bobby? Who do you suggest would play in that number 9 role for Rangers?
It's a hard question, huh? It certainly wouldn't be Shankland. That is no chance. What you said, it certainly wouldn't be Shankland. No. I'm looking for a wee bit better than that. Somebody like a wee Defoe. Somebody that can do something different. That's who I'm looking for at centre forward.
Any names, Bobby?
No. Oh, it's no offhand, no.
Oh, all right, okay.
But there is one name you're talking about. There's a wee guy, and I phoned up and I said about 3 months ago, there's a wee guy at Bodo Glimp would do us a treat. I just forget his name, but he played against that mob twice and destroyed them. He won number 10.
I'll try and see if I can do
he is on the transfer list at this moment. For $2 million. $2 million, you know, when you talk about Matondo, $2 million is a lot of money.
Non-modern football, Bobby. Non-modern football.
Right.
I think the rationale of signing a Scottish player, there's something to do with the squad and going forward in Europe. But if you don't fancy Nisbet, that's fair enough. But I do think the fact that Southside being similar, if they do and put the ball in the net, Southside, I only see that as a positive.
I respect Bobby and I respect his view. He doesn't fancy him, and I hear there'll be loads of people probably screaming like you, Bobby, saying no. But I just think he fits that type of player that we could be looking for, and we need to beat the Dross most weeks, as you know. And he scores goals for in a poor Hibs team. He's just back. Unfortunately, he'd been out with an injury. But if you look what he does and the goals he scores, the type of player he is, and he's mobile, and I think he's perfect for what we'd be looking for. And I think if you could get him at a decent price, he's only got, I think, maybe 18 months left. Even if we had to wait till the summer and try and get him. If Michael Beale wants, he said he's only going to sign players that are going to give 2 and 3 year deals to going forward. He might not fancy him at all. But I was just personally thinking, when I heard people saying the other day, I've said it for a long time on here, Bobby, I think he would have been perfect. I think we missed the boat with Shankland. I think we could have got him a while ago, maybe when he was at Belgium, he'd come back. Because I think he's proved that if he gets into a team that scored goals, he scored goals at Queen's Park, he scored goals at Ayr United. He went to Dundee United, and now he's at Hearts, and he scores goals. Bobby, he's like a Chris Boyd, that boy. But I don't think we'd go for him now. I just thought Nisbet was the perfect guy to go for. I think he's that wee bit more than with the system that we play would probably suit him and our team.
I take it by what you come on, Bobby. You think we missed the boat with Lewis Ferguson?
No, I don't think we missed the boat. I think that he could have been a good squad player for $2 million. I think he could be. He's tearing up Italy, right? So if he's tearing up Italy, tear up Scotland and a good team. No Aberdeen and a good team. So my point.
I don't think you're alone in these thoughts. Because I've started to read now. People are looking at what he's doing. There's rumoured that he's going to move within the Italian league.
Another one I would have signed last year, I was going for kind of buttons. And you might not agree with me, but we need a goalkeeper, right? Big Xander Clark.
I don't disagree.
Another blue nose. We let go.
I mean, if we needed backup, the actual goalkeeping situation, Billy, I could see the rationale. We thought that John McLaughlin was going to be number one. Alan can help develop the boy McCrory and see where it takes us. He's there to be back up just as number two, but it never worked, did it? We had a go at something that never worked.
No, that's right, Ox. We all know. Listen, Alan McGregor's been a brilliant servant to the Rangers there. The twice he's been at the club, mate. You know what I mean? And we know how good a goalkeeper he is, and or was, whatever way you want to argue it, mate. And we took a chance on, but obviously Alan's not got to last forever, mate. Even though goalkeepers can play till about 100. But you've also got we took a wee shot on the boy McLaughlin, and then he had the mistakes that, to me, he melted at Parkhead, mate. Unfortunately, and then listen, we brought him back and we gave him a wee shot out, a run out up at Dingwall, mate. And listen, he done all right, mate. He had a good couple of saves in that game. But that is definitely a key area, as I touched on earlier in the show, Bobby, that we'll need to be looking at that area. We can go with in that position with what we've got for now to the summer. Regarding, because we've got McGregor, McLaughlin and McCrory there, so we've got plenty cover there in goalkeepers. But it's definitely, I would 100% agree with you there, mate. It's definitely a key area that we've got to strengthen in the summertime, and also look for maybe, I would say, maybe possibly one certain number one and maybe a backup keeper too, if they're not going to have McLaughlin in there as a backup or McCrory. So that's going to be interesting in the summer, that one.
All right, the number 10 for Bobo Grant is Hugo Velsiton. He scored 8 goals this season so far, yeah? But he's made an attacking midfielder and a striker. But people Southside would say, we could do with an attacking midfielder as well sometimes, yeah?
We need two. We need two attacking, creative midfield players. That's exactly what we need. We've got enough that squad to now gone to the end of the season that can sit in and play your spoiler player or your holding player. We probably need two creative midfield players in that midfield going forward. And if he could get two in January that he's looking at long term, that'd be perfect. But if we could get one in there going forward towards the summer, but we definitely need two Ox, because we've got enough. Kamara could sit in there if he's still there. You've got Jack, you've got Sands, you've got Lundstrom, and so you've got that type of player that can sit in and try and go on the ball and make the pass. But we need two creative players. That's what we need.
It's going to be interesting.
I think as well, Ox, just to say, how we chin mag with Bobby there, mate. I'm 100% with Southside on this one with Kevin Nisbet, mate, because I think the laddie's record goals per game time. It's all there, mate. If you look at it, I mean, he played, I think it was 46 goals for Raith Rovers. He scored 34 goals for Raith Rovers in 46 games, 23 and 32 for Dunfermline, and he scored 29 goals out of 80 odd appearances for Hibs, and he's had an injury there too, mate. So plus he's a Scottish boy, and he's played it through this. He knows what Scottish football is all about, mate, and he knows what's required to put the ball in the back of the net. And as Southside said, mate, with the chances that Rangers create, playing that laddie up there, mate, it's a good option to have, and it can only strengthen the team. And another thing, buddy, he's only 25-year-old, mate, so his strikers didn't normally peak till they're about 29, 30-year-old, as we all know, mate. So he's got the best years in front of him, and he can, I'm sure under Michael Beale, if Michael Beale did sign him, he would certainly bring him on leaps and bounds, mate. I think the big man would be a revelation at Rangers. But you're entitled to your opinion, mate. You're entitled to your opinion.
Have they persuaded you, Bobby? Yes or no?
No.
All right, mate. That's fair enough.
Hard man to please, Bobby. Eh?
No.
I respect you, mate.
I just think he's too so much like Kolak. So if you're going to bring in Nesbitt, where does Kolak go? That's what I'm saying. You need a wee kind of quick set to feed off of Kolak. Like Haley and McCoist. No, too similar, because they're not going to play together.
No, you could play the two of them in a 1-1. You could play Kolak.
So Kolak plays 1 week and Nesbitt plays the next week.
No, you could play them in a 1-1. You could play Kolak. You could play Kolak as your number 9, and you could play Big Nesbitt just right behind them. For talking sake, say for a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2-2, right? You play a 4, and you play a 1 and a 1. You know what I mean? You could play the two of them like that, and they could link up with one another. Kolak could be your main man, and your man Nesbitt could be buzzing in behind him, mate. It's like a number 10ish kind of player, eh? Plus, he's still got the goal threat to score goals, and he could link up with Kolak as well.
I've just been told, and I don't know if it's true, and I'll go to Southside with this, and you can answer it. That Hibs, obviously, he's been up for sale in the moment, and they're valued at about $2.5 million. Would you take a punt for that, Southside?
So we're talking about $2.5 million.
Aye.
Do you know what? Aye, probably, because he scores goals and he's at the right age.
Right.
We could go and get a striker, right? Whoever Michael Beale gets, he might come up for England. Unless he's a proven striker scoring goals, it's all right saying we've got Kolak. Kolak might not be Michael Beale's cup of tea come the end of the season. He might not want him. We don't know if he wants him or no. We're only assuming he'll want him because he started well and scored goals and we were creating chances. But we honestly don't know, Bobby, whether Kolak will be there long term or no. That'll be up to Michael Beale to decide. But I don't think they're too similar. I just think the two of them can score goals, and I don't think you play them right behind them, Billy. I think you would just play them up just halfway. If you're playing two false nines there, then I believe you could play him up there just slightly on the right. And you might lose because Tillman's been sort of sitting in there. But if Tillman's going to come in and plays an 8 as he wants him to play, then you could easily put another sort of striker off him. No bother. He was prepared to play Alfie and Tim, he said, if they're both fit. So I don't see why you couldn't put an Nisbet up there. But it's about developing them. A guy that scores goals, and we create chances, and then there'll be the issue. I wait till we go into Europe and all that. But if you're playing a system and a style, and the boy's got energy, he runs channels, he can hold the ball in, and he gets confidence playing in a team like ours, and he's contributing, and I think it's a no-brainer in my eyes.
There you go. But it's a bit of cash, Bobby, innit? It's not somebody that's at the end of their contract you're paying for him because he's got 18 months to go. But aye, a lot of people would bulk at that money, Bobby, yeah.
I just don't know. He's just not my cup of tea, obviously. He doesn't date for me. We're going to be sitting here saying, why do we... I just can't grasp that he's going to be our centre forward. I can't... I think we've got more talent than that out there. And Michael Beale knows all about the English leagues and this, and there must be somebody at QPR that could do a job for us. There's got to be.
But how do you know who scored goals in Scotland, Bobby?
Well, if you can't...
Sorry, saying if you can't, but I'm just saying, only because he was there at QPR, I'm hoping we're not going to sign any QPR players, to be honest. But, I respect what you're saying, and there'll be a lot of people agree with you. I just think the guy's proven up here he scores goals in Scotland.
I actually hope you're right. Trust me, I hope I come back on the phone next season and say, by the way, you were right. But at this moment of time, no. I don't think Kevin Nisbet, Shankland, I want to be a bit better than that.
Yeah. Trouble is that obviously if you're going up a level, you're going up in revenue as well, and you're up in wages, and that's an issue. But what about the boy Ross Stewart that plays with Sunderland, who's having a good season?
But that's another one, yeah.
Yeah, a different style of player, Bobby.
Totally. Maybe he could feed off a coach. Maybe he's a kind of, because he's a wee, he kind of runs about. I'm not saying Nisbet's. He's a big boy, but he kind of runs. He's not a centre forward.
Ross Stewart.
Yeah, he's no an out and out centre forward.
He's quite a. I would think you would maybe say he's a target man, if that makes any sense.
A target man, but not a centre forward.
More a Hateley than a McCoist, if that makes sense, yeah?
Well, we need a Hateley. We need a Hateley, man. The same as the other mobs got. They don't play. They put in a big man, they put in a wee man.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. What we see what Michael Beale does. I'm not read too much into his first signing, but when he starts rebuilding his own squad, we'll see where it takes us. We're in for interesting times, Billy. Yeah, Billy.
Definitely, Ox, mate. It's good, mate. It's good to hear that, as I said earlier on, mate, as well. It was good when we heard Michael Beale was talking about that he's not wanting any loan signings and he's wanting permanent deals, mate. But that's fantastic to hear. You know what I mean? And he's also wanting players to hit the ground running and fill that Rangers jersey, mate. Because listen, there's been a lot of players came to Rangers and they thought they were good enough to play with Rangers, mate, and the jersey's been too heavy for their shoulders. You know what I mean? So to play for Rangers, mate, you've got to have a special mentality. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. You can be one of the greatest players in the world and it doesn't work. You know what I mean? But it's interesting times under Michael Beale. And listen, it's a new era for Rangers. We're only half a dozen games into his tenure, mate. Obviously, we've got we're still 9 points adrift in the league, mate. But anything can happen in that. But we're still 2 cups to play for as well, mate. So listen, it's all positives, mate, as far as I'm concerned. Because we can talk about negatives all night, mate, and say this, that, and the next thing. This one's this, and whatever you want to rabble on about, mate. You know what I mean? But it's all positives, mate. That's the way I like to look at it for now on, especially under Michael Beale, mate. You know what I mean? So good luck to him and good luck to the players he's got to know, mate, and good luck to the players that he's got his eye on to bring in, mate, because they'll need everybody luck they can get to please us supporters.
It's going to be interesting, Bo, because players come in. Some guys that you fancy don't make it. Some guys that you don't fancy make it. It's a lottery, really, if I'm being honest, isn't it?
Well, I'm saying I put my $2 million on the big guy. You said is it Yeltsin?
Mm-hmm.
He's an attacking midfielder. He's skillful, and that's somebody to press up forward. I'd take him in a minute.
Aye, well, I've not. Obviously, I've seen the goals he scored against them, but apart from that, I've never seen him play. I must admit, I enjoyed the goals.
Yeah, well, I watched the video after they played them, and the wee guys go at it, and I would take him in a minute. Right, that's my kind of player.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope your panel is right, saying with Nisbet and he comes and he scores a barrel. But to me, no, I don't want Nisbet. I don't want Shankland. We lost one with Ferguson. Definitely lost one. He could have played that. He could have played that for Cork. He could have played that for Morelos.
I don't think he was that type of player, unless his game's changed since I've seen him Southside.
I think at the time, we spoke about it when he was at Aberdeen. I was a wee bit unsure at that time. I think since he's been out to Italy, he's done quite well. I've not followed him, Bobby, to be honest. I've just heard people talking about him and that, and by all accounts, he's doing quite well. I think he probably could have come into our team and added something to it, but I don't think if he'd come in when the rest of them came in under Gio, we might have seen the best of him, and I don't know whether he'll get to Ibrox or not, to be honest. I don't know what type of money they would command, and if he likes Italy and there's other teams sniffing about him, then it might be something that he wants to do for a few years. So I just think it's positive the way Michael Beale spoke, that he's identified a few people and they're keen to come and they're keen to bring them. So I think that's what we've got to look forward to anyway, that hopefully they'll come in and we'll see a big difference going forward.
Aye. Well, if you agree with Bobby, if you agree with Southside, doesn't matter. Give us a phone, 0141 356 1972. You're easy. Welcome to join us. Come and join us. These are your thoughts. Aye. We're in for interesting times. And all the signings aren't going to suit everybody. Bobby will have our doubts, but ultimately, as long as it's the manager's decision and he's getting to build his own team, mate.
Well, as long as he gets his own team, the champions again, yeah, that I don't care who plays for us, but I'm just taking my opinion. Obviously, I'm saying, nah, I don't fancy the boy Nisbet. I don't fancy the boy Shankland. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he might not be good for us. I'm just saying, in my opinion, no, he's not for me. So
that's fair enough.
If it comes good and he signs for us, I wish him all the best. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't want him. If he scores all the goals for us, I'll be his first admirer. But what I'm saying, I don't fancy him, and I don't fancy Shankland. That's who else we get. I haven't got a clue. But we definitely need another forward, because Alfie's not doing it. And Kolak needs supply. What we're missing is the wee boy Lawrence, right? The wee boy, but I said, the wee guy for Bodo Glimp, he's ideal to feed people. Right? This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, he's going to be the winner. I'm saying he's ideal to feed people. And if you can't score goals for Rangers or Celtic in Scotland, well, there's something wrong. I don't care what kind of player you're not used to, because you can't. The amount of attacks we get, it's unbelievable. And you need to put your most centre forwards for Rangers and Celtic will put two away, right? What I'm saying is, I don't think this boy Nisbet hates the Rangers. To me personally, I see him when he plays Celtic. He's all right, but I see him when he scores against Rangers and he goes off his seat. So that's no use to me. So that's probably how I don't want him here.
All right. Well, listen, if you don't think he's up to it, that's your opinion, mate. The boys are only giving you their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Bobby. Good to speak to you. Good points.
Hey, bother, mate.
Catch you soon.
Trust me, I enjoy this programme.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot for that. I think we've been joined by George. You're George. Evening, George.
How you doing, Ox? All right?
Good to hear from you, big man. Happy New Year. Long time no hear.
Aye, same to you, Ox. Same to all the rest of the boys in the panel. Hope you're all...
Santa, good to you.
Aye. I'm always in a good list. You can that, Ox, eh?
I'm hearing you're after light duties. Is there any truth in this rumour, George? You know me, I always get my ear to the ground.
Aye. Light duties, I'd like to think so, Ox. Aye, that's what they call it, light duties, eh? Aye.
What's on your mind, mate?
Just what you're talking about there, Ox. I mean, I don't think we'll actually get to find out who Michael Beale's got to be signing. I think he'll be doing it behind the scenes. The way it should be done, Ox. I think it'll be quite hush-hush, and he'll be looking at the guys. I think it'll be guys like what everybody said about Gio should be bringing all these Dutch boys in and things like that. But I think Michael Beale will bring boys for the English Championship and things like that. And Ox, I think that's where we're going. But I mean, looking at him, because I think we spoke there about the boy Nisbet. I think that lot want far too much money for him. I mean, I think they got a £3.5 million bid for Birmingham 2 years ago for him, Ox, and they knocked that back. So they're not going to And I don't think we can afford to go in with like a £2 million or £2.5 million bid for somebody that might be at Rangers. Ox, I don't think we're in that position to do that anymore. The boy Shankland, I think he would do a job for us as well. I don't think they would expect that kind of money for him. That's the kind of guys I'd probably be looking at, Ox. But for me, and I've said this for a while, and I'm putting on my crash helmet as I say this here, I kind of look at folk who've got to say, well, they can't get a game at Aberdeen, so how's it got to be any good at Rangers? I like the boy Christian Ramirez for Aberdeen, folks. Ox, sorry. I think he's just a different player, and I think that's maybe the kind of guys that we should be bringing in to play in our league games. Ox, that's the kind of guys I think. And I keep on saying this all the time. I came at the guys are saying there about the boy for Sunderland is banging in all the goals. He'll probably go for about 6 or 7 million after the season had, Ox. I think we've got to start winning our league games, Ox, and build a team for to win the league first, and then we can progress on to the next part. Because we've had a wee bit of a kick in the teeth with it, losing a manager, and a lot of the guys probably got contracts. I think Ox that maybe shouldn't have got contracts, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think we've had a lot of dead wood at the start of the season, and we've let these guys stay on. And by the way, I can't remember we're talking about Scotty Arfield and guys like that, but for me, I think our captain should have probably been. We should have been trying to replace him at the start of the season, Ox. And I can't remember people are saying, "Oh, he scored 100 league goals and he's done this and done that." I think we've had a lot of deed wood at the club for quite a while now, Ox. And I think a rebuilding job is going to start. And I don't think we're going to be getting rebuilding. We're bringing in guys for £2.5 million and that boy for Sunderland at £5 and £6 million. I think that's not going to happen. I think we're going to have to buy guys at £1 million and things like that and build your team to win in the league first, Ox. But win it in the Scottish League, and then we can move on for getting back in the Champions League and that. I think we've got to start for the ground again, Ox. And that's quite a bad thing to say, and considering we've hit the pinnacle, we'll go back into the Champions League and that, but we've got a bit to do, and we've lost a manager and things like that. So I think it's a complete rebuild job for us, Ox. I really, really do.
Southside, I think you're quite similar in your thinking.
100%. I agree with George. It is a massive rebuild. He did just give contracts out for an extra year and that, and players haven't contributed, and it needs a massive overhaul. Probably the players are still battle scarred for the bits and the results this season in the Champions League and that as well. And the squad's not done enough domestically by winning trophies. So they got the league title and it was 55, and then Beale got us a Scottish Cup. But by standards, it's not good enough, and we know that. So that's got to improve. And George, at the end of the day, this is Michael Beale's his job's on the line, innit? He's no daft. He can't be daft. He's got to know that he's got to get this right. I think he's slightly shocked at maybe how much the players have been off it, and maybe know where they were when he left. And I think he's looking at the condition of some of them, and I think we've seen with Tav and Golston, they've played a lot of football at the time they've been at our club. We've relied on them, and they've played, and I think it's a bit of wear and tear. I think we've got Golston back, but I think if we could get Suter back fit over a period of time, I think we could maybe try in certain games play him and give Golston a rest. But that whole squad needs revamped, and I think he knows that. But I think it's going to take him probably 3 transfer windows to probably get it right, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that. I think he's got to be given the time. I really, really think he's got to be given the time, and that's why I'm saying about. I said a couple of seasons ago there, and I got laughed at about the wee boy for was it St Mirren at the time? The wee boy McCann, the wee boy for Belfast. I'm sure it was. I'm sure his name was McCann. I'm sure it was. And I think he went down to
St Johnstone.
St Johnstone. I thought he was a cracking player, but we're at that thing Southside. I think we've got a wee bit of we can't really get players for their Ken. Why would we do that? I think we've got to be taking punts on these guys for £1 million and £500,000 Southside, and just taking a chance. See if at the end of the day we're not losing a great deal of money with the CLA guys who were spending £2.5–3 million, and that's a big bit of our purse that we've got to be playing with. I mean, I think guys in our league, we've got to look at our league like we've done years ago, and take guys who are actually performing in the league. And I think we've sort of missed that boat a wee bit with a few good guys that's been down south. Like, I mean, I think the boy Ferguson, everybody was saying, oh, it's Barry Ferguson's nephew and you can't be doing that. I think we should have been in for him too, because he had that. He's got that mentality, winning mentality. He was a Rangers guy, and I think if we have a certain kind of person for to be a winner at Ibrox.
My thoughts were he went there to end up at us, but obviously life can get in the way sometimes, and if he's doing well and he gets snapped up out there, fair play to him. That was my. I know it's mad, George. I was piecing the bits of the jigsaw together.
I think right now is what I'm trying to feel. I think right now we're probably back. We're not back to the start, but I think we're back to the point where we've got to rebuild for the bottom. And I think Big Kolak's brilliant. Big Goldson will do a good job for us. We're all right at the left back here. I think we need a goalkeeper. But like I said, I think we've got to make a decision on the boy Robert McCrory. What we've got to do with that guy? Is he going to be our number one, or is he going? We need to decide on the goalkeeper. And I think we need to build the team round about this. And I was talking about bringing in these young laddies and things. That's all great, bringing in young laddies. It's all right bringing a young lad into a winning team, but I think you've got to bring in your own young laddies. I think you've got to bring them into a winning team. Bring them into a team that's trying to build. There's no always great Ox.
Time we've seen that with the boy Leon King, mate. We took him 2 steps forward and maybe 2.5 backwards because we played him when he shouldn't have been played in a struggling team. It's a difficult process. Billy, and you come, Billy boy.
Aye, Happy New Year, George. How you doing, pal? All right?
Happy New Year, Billy. Aye, good, mate. Thanks.
Aye, good, mate. No, you're right about the team, mate. You're talking roughly, I don't know, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13 players that we could move on there or coming to the end of their contracts type thing. So there is a rebuild job to be done, mate. What we need to watch is as well, but mate, we need to watch and just not rip the team apart completely that way. So we've got to have a balance as well with some kind of experience in there as well, plus the youth and any new players that we bring in. Obviously they've got to the players that come in, mate, have got to hit the ground running. I mean, we've paid money for the boy Matondo, mate, and he's hardly kicked a ball for us, mate. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but I didn't rate the laddie at all. He could listen. I hope he turns it round, but the way things are going now, mate, I can't see it at all, mate. But sometimes that's just the way it is, George, mate. I mean, the shirt's too heavy for certain players when they come in to play with the Rangers, mate. But we've got goalkeepers there as well, mate. As I said, I touched on it a couple of times earlier on in the show as well, mate. That's I think it was Bobby that mentioned it at the previous caller there, mate. That is a big signing for us in the summer. And I'm not just looking for one goalkeeper, I'm looking for 2 goalkeepers in there, because we've got to get the spine right in the middle of the team, right up for your goalkeeper, your centre half, right in the middle of the park, and your number 9, mate, and you build round about it. That's what you do to put a good team out in the park. And all the good Rangers teams through our history, mate, that's what all the good Rangers teams are built on. We've got that good strong spine in the middle of the park and the branches all round about it, mate. You know what I mean? So listen, it is what it is now. We know what we want to see at the Rangers, mate. And let's hope that the management team and the board of directors, we're all singing off the same song sheet here, mate, and they can get their thinking caps on as well, mate, and go and get these players on to get the Rangers back to where we all know where we want them to be, mate. Because, I mean, what is it, a couple of trophies now in XYZ amount of seasons it's not really what the supporters demand for a club of the stature of the Rangers, mate. We're not the most successful club team on the planet for nothing, mate. So we need to start getting league titles again, mate. That's get our bread and butter. We need to start winning in Scotland, mate. And the cups, we want to win cups as well, mate. At every competition we want to win, but the league, in my book, mate, is that's your bread and butter, mate, and that's what we need to get a stranglehold in the league again, mate.
Cheers, Billy boy.
You bother, mate.
George, I'm going to put you on the fence, mate. You're picking the team for Sunday. Give us your team in South Side.
Oh, just a wee quick one before I pick my team. Well, I totally agree with what you're saying about Matondo. 100% agree. That first game I thought was fantastic. I totally agree. But I've always got that wee thing in the back of my head is looking at the wee boy Beale last season couldn't kick a thing. He's running right down south in the Championship in New York. So there's one of the ones that he's got to get time to settle in now because he's for signed. There was no like he's a loan deal. I mean, I don't think anybody's got to come in and say, "Oh, give him." I'll come in and he's probably on, but see, maybe on 18 grand a week or something like that because he came on a big fee. So
I'd a 10 to that, George.
Did you think it as much as that, Oxford? There you go. Nobody's got to come in and take him, so I think that guy's just going to be there. I mean, whereas like I was saying earlier on, Scott Wright, we paid nothing for him. We can get rid of him because you came my feeling with Scott Wright. He's got a football bit.
He's always well turned out as Scott Wright.
He's got nice. That's exactly. He's got nice boots and nice hair, but he can't play football. We need the other guys that didn't look the best in the world, but they can play football. So, but my team for Saturday, Ox, I put my hands up. I think we Alfie played well against that other team on Monday. I thought we Alfie was brilliant. I really do. I think he keyed away a pass at probably the defender should have probably got in the way as well. So I would probably still play with Alfie. I'd probably still go roughly with the same team as long as Lundstrom's fit to play in that team, Ox.
He's intimated in his press conference that Lundstrom's playing, mate.
I would probably, and Kent, I like Lundstrom. I think he's a hardy player and I quite like him, and that's why I was saying about the boy Cammy Devlin as well. I think he's quite a hardy player, not a great football player, but a hardy player, and would run through a brick wall for you, like. So I would probably just go with the same team, Ox, because I don't think there's any need to rush Big Colak back, and I think Kent's coming on to a game now as well, so I would probably go with the same team if I'm honest, like.
All right. What's your team, Southside?
McGregor, I'd leave Tav out this week just to try and get him a bit fitter for the following week semi-final. And I think give him a rest on Sunday. So Devine, Golson, Davis and Borna. I'd play Lundstrom, Jack, Tillman, Kent, Alfie and Sakala.
So you're dropping Kamara for Jack?
Aye, because I think I'd try to keep him and get him on the park the following week at Hampden. And I think we're playing Dundee United, and I think I'd take a gamble of putting Jack in there, and I'd take a gamble of dropping Tav this week to give him a bit of rest.
Would you have Tav on the bench or in the stand?
I'd probably put him on the bench just in case injury or anything like that. But I mean, we've got enough that we could probably do with the subs, so he could probably be on the bench. But I would like to rest him, to be honest. And then you could make it, and Michael Beale can make a judgment of what he wants to put him on the park in the semi-final. And I think if with Kamara with his knee injury, ideally he flares up, I'd like to give him a rest and all, because I think he'd have a big part to play in the semi-final against Aberdeen.
Billy, just to let you know, we've not done the Southside Super 6 this week. We'll be back next week. We've not done it this week because everybody's skint. We don't want to make it worse. Right?
It's January, mate. Everybody's root David Kitty. No, to be fair, the big man's doing well at the Super 6, mate. So get off his back. Southside, tell him to shut it. You're doing well, mate. Leave him alone.
He does often. What's your team, Billy?
Listen, just slightly different, mate, regarding the full-back position in the centre forward. I'm going to leave Tav an year out as well, mate, and I'd like to see Tav sitting in the stand in this one. But I'm not going to play the laddie Devine in there, mate. I'm going to put Ryan Jack in at right back. And I'm going to go Golson, Davis and Borna with McGregor in goals. Kamara, Lundstrom, Sakala, Tillman and Kent. And I would take Alfie out and give him a wee rest as well. And I'd put Kolach in there, mate, because that part's got to be like a bog up there, and it'll be like a quagmire. So,
so your rationale is, you've just told us that the part's going to be like a quagmire.
A quagmire.
And you're bringing somebody back for injury and you're starting them on a quagmire.
Well, he's fit.
No, you're bringing him back for injury. Southside.
He's fit.
I was more shocked that Ryan Jack was getting it right back.
He's played there for Scotland, Southside.
I know, here, Billy. I agree with you, mate. I just think
Big Stevie's played for Scotland at Bingo, but you wouldn't play him at right back, would you?
Bingo.
He's good at it, by the way.
He's in dabbles and everything.
But nah, I just think you could bring a young boy Devine in, play him in his natural position. I think Tav is struggling, and I just think he could probably do with the rest. And I think the cup game is important. I know the league's important. I think we could do that change and still beat Dundee United on Sunday. I think then we go on and we batter them in the semi-final and we get into that final, and that's something that we want to win. And I think it's a right good positive to get a lot of that squad and the new additions that we're hoping to get in January a bit of success. And I think that's what we've got today, get that squad up and running for that cup competition coming, but obviously we're winning in the league. So the way I see it is we could afford to hopefully drop Kamara and Tav, just in my opinion, and go with the rest of the team that I said.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening, believe it or not. That went quite quick, didn't it?
Is that 10 o'clock already, Alwyn?
Aye, it's time for you to get your Ovaltine, Billy.
My Ovaltine, my hot water bottle, mate. And a lem shipper from me.
You know, afford a blanket, no?
No, mate, no. It's all school, mate. A hot water bottle, mate. It's we're not getting yours to, what do you call it? Super 6 this week, mate. So, in fact, Ken, I might be going to buy an electric blanket, because the money I would have paid for an electric blanket, I'll probably put it on your cooking, mate.
Right, true enough, mate, true enough. Right, okay, cheers, Billy boy. Speak to you soon, brah.
No bother, mate. I'm on the Rangers on Sunday.
Yeah. Southside.
Aye, thanks for having us on, mate. Enjoyed being on with yourself and Billy. It was good to hear a few of the callers coming on. Nice wee debate tonight. Looking forward to Tannadice on Sunday, mate. And hopefully the Bears will go up there and get the 3 points.
Yeah. Speak to you soon, big man. Thanks
very much.
Thanks to Bobby, Big Al, and of course, the one and only George, Big George. Thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Thanks for listening. We'll be back at 3 o'clock as we build up to a 4 p.m. kick-off. Rangers versus Dundee United on Sunday. Have a good weekend. Take it away, Old School Blue.
Team of all. We support the Glasgow Rangers, do not Ibrox is the place, and we will follow in the championship race. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. It's true, the magic boys in blue are the best team in the land. You've got to cure and govern to get a ticket for the stand. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. We've spent a lot of money on great players, yes, that's true. But the Rangers fans deserve the best from the boys in royal blue. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. The story, it was dismal, full of gloom. Now we're building an extension for the Ibrox trophy room. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. In Europe we'll be travelling by land and sea and plain. The teddy bears have got the bears and we're on the march again.